Alright, welcome back to The Seven Deadly Sins Anime Review, episode number 77. We are here reviewing the 31st episode of The Seven Deadly Sins, The Four Nights of the Apocalypse, called The Mad King. It adapts from the rest of Chapter 101, pages 6 to 20, and pretty much the entirety of Chapter 102 and 103. So, it is definite with this episode that the Wolnik arc is completely finished with this episode, and also starts adapting the Demon Realm arc. Yep. And I believe this one, if I remember correctly, this is actually the end of, part 1, and we have a time skip at the end of this one. Yes, there is going to be a time skip coming up. Now, I should point out, though, something interesting about the Demon Realm arc, before I talk about the episode itself. The Demon Realm arc itself is the fourth to most recent arc of the manga. And you're thinking, really? It is, because the most recent arc is Gladiator arc, and before that is Fairy Realm, and before that was Camel Infiltration, and before that one was Demon Realm, the arc we're on right now. Yes, fourth to most recent arc of the manga. Now, I'm not all that surprised we're at this point. How much further we're going to keep this going, I don't know. I had theorized that maybe that we might end with this particular arc. I would not be surprised if we end the season with the Camel Infiltration arc, because with this very episode, there is exactly, if you're curious, there are 67 chapters left to be adapted for the series. You heard me correct. 67. So, we might see a wrap-up of this season sometime in the future. How many more episodes to keep this going for? Well, it depends on how much they can adapt. That's the thing. I have not heard of the definitive episode count on some other anime I'm watching right now. This is currently one of the few I'm currently watching now where there's no definitive episode count for it. Now, case closed, that's weekly, so I'm not surprised about that. This one, along with Demon Lord Retry, I have not heard a confirmed episode count for that one. Was there any one besides this one particularly? And Demon Lord Retry, there's no confirmed episode count for it? No. And Ramahat. That is another one, basically. I have not heard a confirmed episode count for it. Do I think it was as long as the original series? I don't think so, no. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Oh. Yeah. So, so basically we begin. Now this whole opening scene with this one room is from Chapter 101, where Talisa basically is captured at the end of the previous episode, and so they interrogate her, Oh, okay, I'm not worried about it. So, and of course get information about possibly where the entrance is. They're of course sad that Jade has just died in the previous episode. They open up with that very shot of him dead. And there's some regrets. And of course, Tenzin, she's like, oh, he put on the glove to become stronger. He puts on the glove and he proceeds to punch her in the face, basically causing her to give her a nose. That doesn't break her nose per se, but I think he punches her right here in the side, punch her in the face, causes her to bleed. And then Percival's doppelganger little things mention, oh, your soul's past, no regrets, and then Chthon proceeds to beat up Percival, and Anne basically stops him from beating up because Percival's not a liar. She can confirm it due to the fact she has an ability where she can detect liars. And Percival does not lie. Which, yep, that's definitely true. He does not lie. So, and of course, then we have Ganon asking Tenzin, where her mark is in order to get there. And she's like, if you don't, your punishment would be being stripped naked and being paraded around at the being licked. Presumably, Ganon probably be the one licking her because I'm sure she probably really wants to sleep with her, given the fact she's a lesbian. Look, I have no problem having an original character from the get-go where he or she is gay, but when you retcon a character to being gay or bisexual after years being straight, I made this point many times. If a writer creates a character where where a different creator, where this character is not meant, where basically he gets outed as gay or bisexual after years being straight, in my honest opinion, is a terrible idea. If you have an established character from the get-go where they're like gay or like, let's say this shit, in this case, she's a lesbian, I have no issue with that because that was established at the beginning. I'm like, fine. So then she was, oh yeah, it's actually on her back, and then seemed like she's about to activate, and then bugs come out of her eye and mouth, and she dies. Yes, this whole opening sequence, which takes up roughly 5 minutes of the episode, just happens. And then they proceed to go to a hill. It would be Io, and of course Io sees Percival and is like, oh, you're Percival. He's like, have you met before? And then later on, that is something a bit of that he doesn't remember meeting here before. Meanwhile, over in Camelot, by the way, the Camelot scene, a lot of the Camelot stuff in this episode is from Chapter 102, which sets up the very next arc. Because we have King Arthur talking to Guinevere, where she's in another room, talking over some intercom or whatever, basically confirming that, yeah, her prophecy was true. He wants another one. And she does give one about sending 6 assassins to this particular town. And she doesn't say which ones, but he does say 6 assassins where 4 will be killed, 2 will flee. He's like, okay, so don't have fate. So he sends Ironside to basically recruit 6 people, but also send his brother. Though for some reason the sub refers to him as his brother-in-law, despite the fact it's actually his brother. I don't get it. I don't really get that at all. And then we cut to his son, well, his other son anyways, the one he thinks is his true son, Desio, where he's sword practicing with his uncle. And he's like getting really good. And he's like, oh, have you been practicing by yourself? He's like, yeah, don't tell Dad. Yeah. And then, of course, tells him a story about basically his sister, basically his mom. And when they go to the entertainment district, turns out it was their father's probably favorite spots. They get yelled at. And then he gets a message from what appears to be a raven informing him that he's on a mission, first with Big Brother. Probably this is kind of similar to how the way it's depicted in Marvel Comics when how Odin communicates sometimes with ravens. This is very, very similar. And this, I don't think this is, now this particular thing of communication via a bird like this is taken from Norse mythology, not from King Arthur lore. Because some might think that basically that the writer of the series, because it takes a lot of information from the series from King Arthur lore, this is not the King Arthur lore, this is from Norse mythology. With Odin. Except this is a knight. So then him and his group basically, of course, it turns out his name is Makoth, which I think I've seen his suit number 4 in the previous season of the show. So, and of course he has a couple of subordinates to basically keep an eye on his nephew, so they do. And then they go to the town where Percival's group basically arrive with Escanor, which I think this horse's, I believe, his first appearance in this particular series, because he made his debut in the 2-parter, the thing about Edinburgh. Yes, that's where basically he made his debut. That's where the horse made his debut, along with Tristan, his first chronological appearance per se. It's not cursed, but I think it's called Vengeance from Edinburgh, I believe it was. Yes. So. And of course, Sylvia's here too, which I don't think that, I think she was featured previously. Like she's been recurring. This horse has been a recurring character in the series ever since on debut. Great to see the horse again. And of course, they arrive at this town, and of course the knights just watch him. Don't interfere yet, because they're not told us to kill him just yet. So they're by the rock, and of course Cthulhu thinks it's a dead end. And then, of course, Percival touches it, and they go through, and this is the entrance Demon Realm. Now, those of you curious, did they do this in the previous series? No, they had a different entrance. I think, if I remember correctly, I think that this entrance was also, I think it was last used in the Cursed by Light movie, that this actually was 4 people doing this, not a group of like 10 like it is here. Because that one you have basically Melios, Zedros, and their 2 brides, Elizabeth, and I think it was, I'm trying to remember what was her name. She's a vampire. So, and of course they go through, and of course mentioned the miasma, which is common for demons, and they of course had some resentment, probably from the war, and they go in, and then we cut to the Demon King's castle, which I think is the first time it's been seen in this particular series. It was never seen in the original one. Nope, never was. The only time we ever saw this place was actually the Cursed by Light film. That's the only time we saw it prior to this very episode. And he's informing the current Demon King, Judas, and Demon King himself is requesting that they brought him to him. And Demon King is Zedros. This is something that was established in the Cursed by Light movie, and this is actually his debut in this very series. We already saw his brother, now it's his turn. Excuse me. I knew this was going to happen if I got to read the manga, but I'm very happy to see the guy. I'm surprised they altered his appearance. Now, this is not the fault of the anime. This is the fault of the manga. They altered his appearance slightly. He's still dressed in red. They put like little things on top of his outfit, which makes him similar to his father. His father was a freaking giant. But he's long dead. Along with the Supreme One. She died in the Cursed by Light movie, because in the manga they never mentioned what happened to her. She just was there in flashback because she never spoke ever in the whole series. The Cursed by Light movie was the only time they ever hear her speak in the entire franchise, before she's ultimately killed by her own daughter and the 7 deadly sins. And that's how the episode ends. Absolutely fantastic episode, and I can't wait for the next episode, which will air next week. Now, with that, basically, I am caught up on all my anime. Yep, all my anime is all caught up. Don't have a new episode premiering until Thanksgiving. I don't know if we have one premiering next week. I don't. Let me check and see about that. If there's none premiering on Thursday, then I'll be very happy to take day off from anime. Let me check just be sure. Maybe the anime is taking day off. I'm not sure. Here we go. I don't know. We're having one premiering this week, 2 days, because. Okay, so let me take a look about this. Okay, so no new Israel Dungeon this Thursday. Okay, so alright, so I do know we have 2 anime taking a week off because Thanksgiving. Israel Dungeon and Case Closed. These 2 are definitely taking a week off. Okay, so you're probably thinking, okay, is there any anime premiering this weekend? Well, with no Case Closed, that means we just have, I'd say probably the next new anime probably watching, it's probably going to be Demon Lord Retry. You have that one. Rama Half of premieres this weekend. I don't know. I'm not going to about that one yet. Let me check and see about this here. I'm about to check right now if, in fact, we actually have another episode. Now, I'm sure that probably Demon Lord Retry, I'm sure that's going to be premiering. Let's see. Okay, so Rama Half, I don't have info about that one yet. So I will check this weekend if anything's premiering this weekend or not. In the case, this one. Okay, so I'm looking at the date here. It said next be 3. Okay, so be 4 days. So, okay, given this info, I'm basically looking on the website. I'd say this. So, I'd say this one would definitely premiere this weekend. Yes. So, the only one I can confirm is this one airing this weekend. So, we have this coming up this weekend. As for the other anime, I don't know yet. I will find out as time goes on. But I do know that Izuru Return Dungeon is not premiering Thursday, which is great for me. So that gives me 3 full days off anime. Yep, 3 full days. So, as for if anything premiering tomorrow, maybe Comic Corner 2, maybe. Who knows? But see you all later. Bye. Also, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button.